When I was a boy, this was my family. I felt like a prince, living under the reign of my Queen Edith, my King Tony. Oh, and my sister Carmela, she was the necessary princess. Our castle was this modest farmhouse on 18 acres of land on the outskirts of Roseville, California. We were very happy there. My sister and I had ample opportunities to roam the outdoors, and Dad was a veterinarian, so he always had a lot of animals and pets on the farm, and there was always an opportunity to play. Dad's veterinary hospital was on Riverside Boulevard. He had a great commute. All he had to do was walk up or down the hill, and he was home. My first memories of leaving the farm were summertime trips. Mom and Dad had met during World War II, and Dad had been assigned to a series of dairy farms in the Wisconsin area. So Dad rented a room from a postmaster in Whitehall, Wisconsin, and that postmaster became my Uncle Donald when Dad married the local dairy queen. Just getting to Whitehall, Wisconsin was an adventure in itself. We often took the California Zephyr. What a ride! On one special trip, we went to Detroit and watched our brand new 1953 Plymouth four-door sedan roll off the assembly line. The farm my mother holds her childhood memories of was dramatically larger and different than our farm in California. It had been the center of a family dynasty, generations of dairy and farming business, now growing old and obsolete. But I got to know my grandparents and my aunts and uncles, and I got to capture glimpses of what my mother's world was like when she was a girl. The massive farmhouse never had running water. Electricity was added in the late 30s. But people would sit out on the lawn and talk, and this was a social activity. Maybe it was childhood illusion, but it didn't seem like anybody was really troubled then. Grandpa, Grandma were healthy and in their home. These were good times. Grandma Ann lived a good life, dying at 82. In her final years, she forgot these moments. She forgot about her loving life as wife and mother, and she forgot about her daughter and her son-in-law, even that she had held a small grandson on her lap as they rode in a 1953 Plymouth. The journey from Whitehall back to California would take us to my dad's side of the family. This would bring out a whole nother set of cousins, aunts, and uncles, experiences, and a grandfather. Some of Dad's family lived in metropolitan areas and others lived very close to the land. I didn't get to know my grandfather well, and I can vividly recall him wandering off and getting lost when he visited us. No one called it Alzheimer's then, but I'm sure it was. Grandpa died when he was 80, leaving a legacy of a large family of wonderful people. Mom and Dad always made certain that Carmel and I were educated and exposed to the real world, and they always had an open door and open heart to family and friends who would visit us in our reality. We would move from the farm to the city, and each of us in our own way would have hardships, love, health, and abundance. But when I was a boy, this was my family.